I've got senior columnist at townhall.com, Kurt Schlichter, with me now. Kurt, thanks for joining me on the U.S. Report. I want to start out with some of this incredible news overnight that the Secret Service is suspending 6 agents for failures related to last year's assassination attempt in Butler. They range from 10 to 42 days, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you were a former Army infantry colonel. What do you make of this, and particularly what we know and what we saw on the day, some, shall we say, not great discipline amongst some of the agents on that detail?
Well, that's a kind way of saying gross incompetence. They allowed a unskilled, gawky teenager to get within 200 meters of the president with a rifle and a scope on an exposed rooftop. This is there's stunning and staggering, and then there's this kind of mind-boggling incompetence. And the fact that it's taken a year to slap the risks of these hacks it's absolutely incomprehensible to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand why they didn't essentially burn the Secret Service to the ground and start over. It was that bad. They almost blew the head off of our president. They murdered an American citizen. They shot 2 more through their incompetence. I don't. What the heck? I don't get it. I don't get why it has taken that. See, this is the problem with our society. The lack of accountability, a failure that is so great that the word failure fails to fully appreciate the magnitude of the screw up occurs. And a year later, some guys get some paid time off or unpaid time off. If you want an organization that functions, you need accountability. Dramatic, harsh, but predictable. There's a real mess.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely shocking on that. I mean, and also just the fact that we don't know really much at all about the shooter in this case still. Does that strike you as strange that after all of this time, almost a year now, that so little is revealed about this, as you say, gawky teenager who just suddenly decided one day that he was going to go out and take a shot at the president and knew where the president was going to be?
I don't understand it. We have a lot of failed organizations in the United States, a lot of failed institutions. And I can't explain the lack of curiosity about it. Now, we have good people in charge now. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino are good folks who definitely want to get to the truth. But, this is unacceptable, and yet it's being accepted.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, just on, that question of accountability, though, there has been a bit of good news, I think. Maybe you tell me on the accountability front this week, because ex-CIA and ex-FBI directors John Brennan and James Comey are now under investigation, apparently, allegedly for giving false statements in relation to 2016 and the whole Trump-Russia collusion report, which has been completely discredited even by the CIA. Here's a little bit of John Brennan on MSNBC.
I testified in front of many, many congressional committees in the House and the Senate over the years, and I continue to explain exactly what we did during this process, why we tried to make sure we stayed true to our intelligence responsibilities, and that we were not going to do anything at all to try to interfere in that election. I am clueless about what it is exactly that they may be investigating me for.
Kurt, when he says not do anything to interfere with that election, I kind of feel like the vision should stop and we should hear the narrator say, actually, they interfered in the election. What do you make of that defense?
If John Brennan came to me and told me that the sun was going to rise in the east, I would lean out my window to confirm it. I believe that are we going to allow perjury or not? I mean, are we going to have rules or not? Because if we have rules that are only applied to some people, that's not having rules, that's having tyranny. If these guys lied, and I despise both of them, but, we're not here to railroad people. We're here to punish wrongdoers. If an investigation reveals a lie to Congress that violates the appropriate section of the federal law, then they should be prosecuted just like I would be. If I got up in front of Congress and committed perjury, I'd have a one-way trip to Leavenworth, okay? As I should. Why do they get a break? Because they're bigwigs, because they're important? The standard needs to be higher for people with responsibility, not lower, not a free pass. It's extremely frustrating. It's going to take some time to get my country out of this mindset of a lack of accountability, the same kind of lack of accountability we talked about with regard to the Secret Service.